What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode, another week of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Ghost of Tsushima becoming PlayStation's biggest single-player launch on PC. We're also going to be talking about EA's diverting 100% of Immortals of Aveum net sales revenue to Ascended Studios. And then we're also going to be talking about Microsoft to make changes to Xbox Game Pass tier because of Call of Duty, it's claimed. We do this Monday through Thursday. We cover news stories, have conversations with chat, give you my thoughts and opinions based on the article itself. And I appreciate it very much if you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. What's going on, Z? What's going on, Eclipse? What's going on, Dolphin? Morning, Winter Rose. So we're also going to show it just came out just, I don't know, a couple minutes ago, I think. We have a new trailer about an hour ago, about the Multiversus new trailer that dropped and also other characters that are coming to the game. So we'll talk about that as well. How's everyone? I hope everyone's weekend was good. Eclipse said they had a new trailer for Multiversus. Agent Smith and Jason Voorhees is actually joining, hopefully, the roster, and they're going to be in the season. Yeah, it looks like they are. It looks like that's what the tweet says. What's going on, Moonhead? Hope everyone had a good weekend. I got a little pop filter for my microphone now, so hopefully the P's and stuff don't pop as much anymore. That big thing in the center, this thing before, I switched up my microphone stand. It doesn't attach anymore, so it was a pain in the ass to put on there. Let's start off. So it's like a black guy on the roster. Good morning. What did you play this weekend? I didn't play anything this weekend because I was in Legoland this entire weekend. I took my nephew and my son. We went as a family. We stayed there for it was my nephew's family and our family. We went to Legoland together and went to a water park, and so that's where I was this weekend. So no video games for me this weekend. All right, let me see. Trying to see if anything else really popped off on Twitter this morning. That's the official launch trailer. Yeah, it's about an hour ago. X Defiant. Supposed to release tomorrow. Oh yeah, so did you guys see the official? Did you guys see? I can't show it because they'll nick me for it. But have you seen the Married with Children full-on trailer? It's a animated show coming out with Married with Children. I think it's the original cast voicing the characters. So strange coming out now. Ron Slusher says DoorDash seems to require a PlayStation account now to order food. I guess their sales are going to go down too, right? They need a Powerpuff Girls. I think they will. They will put those in the game, Dolphin, down the line for sure. All right, let's start off with Ghost of Tsushima. All right. So, Ghost of Tsushima becomes the PlayStation's biggest single-player launch on PC, beating God of War and Marvel's Spider-Man. We do this Monday through Thursday. We cover news stories, have conversations with chat. If you like this, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. So, Ghost of Tsushima becomes PlayStation's biggest single-player launch on PC and beating God of War and Marvel's Spider-Man. So, Ghost of Tsushima, the open-world samurai romp that debuted in 2020, as a PlayStation 4 exclusive, has become a publisher's biggest single-player launch on PC based on concurrent player count. As of talking about this right now, the concurrent player count is 60,000. All-time peak this weekend was 77 on Steam. So Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut made its way over to the digital storefront in Steam earlier this week on May 16th, packaging in the original game's sword-slashing campaign as well as exclusive armor set, developer commentary, and the Legends of Co-op mode in the Director's Cut. So PlayStation's growing multi-platform approach seems to be on the up and up since the Jin's revenge tale has proven also been even bigger than the game's starting icons like Kratos and Peter Parker. Now, Ghost of Tsushima PC port has also reached a concurrent player count of 75,000 as the time of writing according to Steam DB charts. Okay, God of War 2018 sits as close second with 73,000 current player peak, and Marvel Spider-Man 2018 enjoys third place at 66,000, while Robodino Duology, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Horizon Forbidden West at 56,000 and 40,000 peaks, respectively. Now, the only other PlayStation published game with higher peak is multiplayer phenomenon Helldivers 2, with a whopping 458,000 peak, which has a slight advantage since it came on the storefront at launch day, opposed to being ported years later. Now, Ghost of Tsushima was also a victim of a similar PSN-related controversy that also Helldivers 2 dealt with, as a publisher, Sony Interactive Entertainment, tried to make PC Helldivers link the active PlayStation Network account, prompting a mass review bombing campaign and delisting the game in several countries. Now, Sony take back the requirements of their hit shooter, but still exists the Ghost of Tsushima online co-op mode. So, look, if this doesn't tell you that day and date are coming for PlayStation, I don't know what does. Okay, so far, since they've done that they're putting out on stuff. Now, obviously, PC games have been coming from PlayStation for the last couple of years, right? This is not a shocker. Just closer and closer. Now, think about this. Think of Ghost of Tsushima launched on PC and PlayStation the same time. They would have way more sales instead of waiting 4 years afterwards to then put it out to maybe. Now, again, there's 77, what did they say? 70,000, 75,000, 77,154 this weekend, okay, for their peak. Now, instead of waiting 4 years for that, that might be 200,000 sales, okay, because it's a small percentage when you see the concurrent players, because people buy it, they don't put it on, they don't play at the exact same time. So I'm going to say like 200,000, maybe 300,000 sales, okay, maybe more. We'll find out more. If it does well enough, they'll let you know what that sale point is. But if they just did it the same time, day and date, instead of the PlayStation mentality of going, well, we're going to be losing sales because people are not buying our PlayStation, those people don't want to buy your PlayStation. They don't want to buy an Xbox. They don't want to buy a Switch. They just want to play games on PC. So why wait 4 years afterwards? Because after the fact, we've had conversations like this in the past where if it came out day one, people would buy it. But because it comes out 4 years later, there's other games that are brand new on Steam that they would rather buy, okay? Or there's a backlog of games that they have, and they won't pick it up day one when it launches on PC. But if you give them the option of, hey, this is a brand new game coming out, it's on PlayStation 5, maybe going in the future PlayStation 6, and you put it on PC day one, that's a smart business decision. Hence why all these other companies are doing multi across the board now, because they want to try to get out as many people as possible, as fast as possible, because video games, I've been using this term, doesn't have as much legs as it used to in the past. Right? Less games in the past. If you had a really cool game, I'll use Skyrim in this instance. When Skyrim came out, people just kept playing Skyrim over and over and over for the years, okay? Another game, CSGO, that has legs, okay? Lots of games that come out now are like the hot commodity for that week, that month, and then they die off because there's no substance to it. They would rather play something when it came out day one, and they keep playing it because there's that core community behind that game. Now, obviously, this is a single-player game. So is this going to last for, years and years? It could with a small group of people. But if you open that broadness up, day and date, okay? And again, this is not about a Microsoft thing to a Sony thing. It's across the board. The landscape is changing for gaming. And if you put a game out on day one on your chosen console that you want to play on, and it's also on PC, that is a smarter choice than just putting it on that console and trying to sell that console, because people just don't want to buy a $500 box to play that one game. Yes, there are still people that do that, okay? But a lot less people are doing that, and they would rather play it on the PC, or they would rather play it on their Xbox, or they would rather play it on their PlayStation, or they'd rather play it on their Switch. or they rather play it on their Steam Deck, or they rather play it on their GeForce Now, or they rather play it on Amazon Luna. It doesn't matter where they want to play it. They just want to play the game where they want to play the game. What do you think? Do you think Ghost of Tsushima is that catalyst now? Because now Helldivers was the multiplayer thing. Ghost of Tsushima is now the #1 selling game of the single-player aspect for PlayStation. Do you think day and date is coming? Or do you think, nah, they're still not going to do day and date when the new games come out? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what I do here, please make sure you check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right. Dolphin says, bought and played it this for the first time this weekend. So good, bro. Highly recommend it. Come on, Lurker. Good morning. So much for the whiny PC master race not making PlayStation accounts. There's a lot more people that didn't buy it, Lurker. I think this would have been a much bigger number if they didn't have to link the account. And you got to remember, there's 180? There's 180 countries that cannot buy this game right now. So Sony literally is shooting themselves in the foot because they can't make PlayStation accounts in those 200 countries. I'm sorry, 180 countries. I keep saying 200. 180 countries. Behemoth Titan says Spider-Man 2 coming to PC in December. Do you think it's going to come out that fast? That would be the fastest that they launched. Is that your prediction, Behemoth? Carlos says, I'm a whiny PC guy and didn't buy it. There you go. You just can't play it legally as a resident of 100+ countries, which makes it more likely to be pirated. Super smart. I own this game, and I was going to buy it and did not. Yeah, there's a lot of people that didn't buy this game. And think about it. It was... And you have to look at this, Lurker, as this number right here, with the 77,000, there's a lot of people, and I know it's hard for people to believe this, there's a lot of people that don't watch YouTube. There's a lot of people that don't follow the drama that goes around with making a PlayStation account. This is a very small percentage of people. I would say the people that are in this group of the 77,000 people that were playing this past week or this past weekend were people that very few watch YouTube videos and don't care about the boycotting or the... what happened to Helldivers. There's a shit ton more people that don't do any of this stuff, and they didn't buy it. Right? People that can actually buy it didn't buy it. We have 3 people in chat that didn't buy it. Okay? 4, including myself. Okay? Because of all the stuff that was going on around it. Put a bad taste in my mouth. I'm like, oh, I can wait. I waited 4 years. I can wait 4 more. Sarge says, Happy Memorial Day. Heartfelt thanks to all those who serve and uphold the values of the Constitution and the families of those people who serve. And also, thank you for your sacrifices. God bless. Yeah, I think Memorial Day is next Monday. I'm pretty sure. Or is it the 20th? Is today the 20th? Hold on a second. Am I lost? Am I lost? Yeah, Memorial Day is the 27th. Yeah, it's next Monday. I was like, my son's last day of school is on Friday before Memorial's Day. Still good, though, Sarge. Still good. Jack says, the better not mess this up and have to see as many success as they do a more day and date. I bought the game last year, just getting back to playing it again. Really good. Kylo says I plan on it too. To buy it, and then you didn't, right? Yeah, that's how I did it. For the biggest single-player game, I only have a single person on my list who has played it, other than me. Sarge is just a little... He's 1 week early. It's okay. He doesn't have a kid, so he doesn't really know. My calendar goes around based on... If my son has off for school or holidays, if he's home, I'm like, oh, it's a holiday. Yeah, that's how it works. Sorry. I had to trim a nail for a second. I busted a nail. I had a hang nail. All right. Yeah, so look, I think it's good. I think it's good that they do this. I was looking forward to Ghost of Tsushima. I was watching some gameplay of it again. I was like, man, that looks fucking good. Looks so good. And yet I'm like, nah, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get it now. I think, especially in the landscape of gaming nowadays, is that games should be everywhere. Okay? If that means if it's on other consoles or if it's on just another platform. Okay? So if it's on PC day one, day and date, cool, right? I'm past the point where I'm going to buy a game. And I told you the only possible way I would buy a PlayStation for a game would be Grand Theft Auto 6. Okay? Just because. Other than that, like if PlayStation came out and said PlayStation 5 has the exclusive for GTA 6, I would pick up a PlayStation for that if it had a year exclusive or whatnot, right? One, because I'm a content creator and that would make good content for me. Okay? But other than that, it doesn't matter what console. If I had a PlayStation and Xbox came out, because Xbox is putting it day and date on PC, I wouldn't buy an Xbox. And because I have an Xbox and PlayStation's putting their games over on PC, I don't need to buy a PlayStation. The only company, and I don't need to buy. Okay, I have a son and he likes the Switch, so he might ask for a game. But there's no game on the Switch that I'm like, I need to pick up a Switch for that, right? We have a Switch, Ultimate Alliance 3 when it came out, during that time, right? It took me 2 years to buy it after the fact, okay? I didn't buy it day one. But the reason I did buy a Switch down the road was because my son was getting to that age where he could start playing a Nintendo game, like 4 or 5 years old. I was like, you know what? I'll pick it up. I think we've had it for about 4 years now. And it's been out for 7? Yeah. Transformers Reactivate exclusive to PlayStation 5. Will you get one? Well, I know it's not. So putting that out there, it's not going to work. You would have to use a different example, Water. A game that I'm super hyped for that I know is not, that we don't know when it's coming out or whatnot. Sarge says games can't be everywhere day one because devs have to code for all those types of hardware, and it takes longer in bug testing to streamline multiplayer systems. Sarge, you do know they make games on PC, right? They literally make them on PC and then port them to the console. I know it's crazy. Now, sure, if you're making the game and you have to port it for Xbox and Switch and PlayStation, I understand that. But if you're literally making a game for Xbox or PlayStation or Switch, these were designed on an actual computer first. Yeah, but we're in the conversation we're having right now. Ghost of Tsushima could have been on PC day one, but they chose not to because they're still stuck in the old school mentality of we want to put it on our consoles because we want people to buy the console. And I totally understand. I totally understand why the companies want to still try to sell their consoles. But the consoles, if you go back and look, every single console, and I'm not talking about just individual consoles, I'm talking about the console market in general. Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox, over the last 20 years, 24 years, okay, if you combine the Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox, for each generation that came out, they've sold less and less as time goes on. Right? So, like, the Wii U was down, but PlayStation and Xbox was up. or the Wii was up and Xbox was down, right? The total average between all of them in that generation cycle is getting less and less. People don't look at it. They're like, well, no, PlayStation 2 sold this many. Yeah, that's fine. But there's only a certain amount of people that buy consoles, which I think is like 320 million. It's less than that, actually, because there's people that own a Switch and a PlayStation, or a Switch and a Xbox, or an Xbox and a PlayStation, or all three, right? So there's overlapping numbers. So I think it's like 260, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's the saturation point. 260 million people across the board, and these three companies are fighting for those people. Except now they're trying to get to the other people. This is why Ubisoft and Square Enix and Microsoft and PlayStation, and they're all deciding that they want to go multi-plat. If it's two of the systems, if it's three of the systems, if it's all the systems, if it's all the platforms, this is why they're switching, because they want to try to put out the best, or the best chance for them to make the most money. Day one. So in the last First Descendant live stream, they said that this is the last beta, so I'm hoping the game comes out soon. Reportedly, it's supposed to come out in August, is what rumors have been, Eclipse. Xbox is moving beyond console, not meaning they aren't going to make them, but console is just another way of access Game Pass. Brilliant. Exactly, Vandal. This is what I've been saying for years. Years. They're trying to put the... Look at big corporations like McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, right? Starbucks, okay? Sure, some places don't have a Starbucks in their area. Other places have 6 locations within like a 50-mile radius, okay? If they just had one Starbucks in a spot or one McDonald's in a spot, it would make a lot of money. But they want to make more money. So they start spreading them out, right? They start putting them out because they want to put it as the biggest chances they can get to make the most money, right? And selling, for instance, for McDonald's, right? They could sell a cheap burger, but if they sell that cheap burger to millions of people instead of hundreds of people, they can keep the cost down and still make a killing. This is why they would try to put it out there. This is why we say Game Pass is that McDouble, okay? This is why Krebsy has said it in the past. We've said it in the past, right? Where we compare it to McDonald's because you're putting something of value for a smaller value. You're trying to get out to as many people as possible, because if you get out as many people as possible, then you have a better chance of making more money. People look at this and... Yes, PlayStation Plus has a lot of people, but there's more people spending more money on Xbox with less people. Less people on Game Pass and spending more money. Yeah, exactly. They're like, hey, how many people come to this mall? 10,000 a month? Put a coffee in there. What's the percentage of people are going to walk by this coffee place and get a coffee? Right? Then you go to resorts. And resorts know they have you, right? Because you're in their ecosystem, right? This is a great example. If you ever go on vacation and you're in a resort, you can't ever leave that resort. They can mark up the prices of the things that you're drinking there or eating there because they know you can't go anywhere else. They have a monopoly on the surrounding area. So no matter where you go, okay, you're going to be spending $7 on a drink. You're going to be spending $20 on a hamburger because they know they have you captured in there. You're in their ecosystem. Okay? That's what they want you to do. But before you get there, they want to make sure they can broaden it as much as possible, take the disk drives away from you, get you on that streaming service, if it's PlayStation Plus, if it's Nintendo, if it's with the retro gaming, if it's with Xbox, with Game Pass. They want as many people as possible to get into their ecosystem so they can control how much you spend. Come on, Argus. PlayStation Plus has what? 40 million users? I think we looked it up last week. Was it like 42? Was it 36 or 42? So every first of the month, we should just say, ding, another $430 million to Microsoft, who's paying to be on Game Pass. Wait, so Xbox was more incoming revenue than PlayStation for their streaming service. Yeah, for Game Pass. That's correct. Eclipse says, I have a gym that I go to and know what's right beside them is a protein shake place. It was smart for them to do that, and it worked. So it's just like I don't have a disk drive, then I'm automatically inside the ecosystem. Oh, I look at Starbucks in the lobby. Let me buy a coffee and get a punch of my Starbucks card. In Mexico, exactly. Right. It doesn't matter where it is. There's that percentage of chance, like, let's put it out there. Yeah, this is why they when we looked at the financials, their console sales were down, Jones. Right? And I just want to make it clear. This is not me being a fanboy, right? This is just the facts that Tom Warren put the stuff out there. The console sales, the hardware sales were down, but the software sales and game sales were up. Now, the difference between, right, the difference between what PlayStation's doing and what Xbox is doing is that Xbox is putting day and date, meaning there's people playing new games, and if it's a live service game or not, they might be paying for a microtransaction or 3-day early access or whatnot, where PlayStation's putting games on PlayStation Plus, but they're older games, and most people are probably not buying those older games, but they are playing those older games. So they just have the revenue from the PlayStation Plus, where Game Pass is making the money from Game Pass, and they're also making the money from the 3-day early access for new games, like when Starfield came out or anything like that. What's going on, Mo? They also see hardware sales being down as a good thing, also on that report. Yeah, because it's less people buying the stuff, but more people playing their stuff, right? That's exactly what they want. Randall says, Xbox players support the devs, and yes, I'm being a fanboy. You can say they're supporting. I mean, you're just doing what they want you to do, right? They want you to play on Game Pass because they want you in the ecosystem of that. If they keep putting stuff on there, and this goes across the board for all these streaming services, I've said it multiple times. I do like the PlayStation model better for day one games, right? I'm okay with them not putting it on Xbox, right? And also not putting it on a PlayStation Plus day one. I think you should let that game breathe. I think if Spider-Man was on PlayStation Plus day one or God of War, it wouldn't sell as many copies. And they needed to sell that many copies because they put $250, $300 million into that game. So they need to put it out there as much as possible to get that sales back. Okay. They need that 5 million, 7 million copies sold early on so they can offset the cost of what the game is. And then after that, then they can start putting money back into it. Where Xbox is putting it day one, but their games probably didn't cost $300 million or $215 million. They're probably still up there, but they're probably lower. And again, I can't tell you if this is proof or not, right? Because we haven't seen anything from what their games cost. But their games are probably lower, hence why they're okay putting it on Game Pass day and date, because they're still good quality games, but not as high as quality because they're probably $100 million less. Right, but 50 million, Mo, right? 50 million is a way off from 350 million. You know what I mean? That cost of that game is way down, and they'll make that back. They'll probably make that back real fast off of people coming in playing Game Pass. Because you got to look at it. They're just trying to get people into the service, and down the line, you might pick up a $5 microtransaction. You might pick up a $10 expansion. Gear 6 is probably 2 to 3 million. 2 to 3 million what? Dollars? On the game? No. No way. I would say probably Gears is probably going to be like 150. 130, 150 mil. I mean, I don't know. Do they have... Let me see if they have the budget for the last... The Gears 3 in 2011 hit 60 mil. I think that's what it says. Hold on. Here's some rough numbers. Here's some rough numbers. Okay, this is from Wikipedia. List the most expensive video games to develop. Okay. Cyberpunk, it said 174 and 142 for marketing. 174 and 142 for marketing, and then 103, I guess, for the expansion. Oh, no. That's for the Windows one. This is for the Series S and X. A total of 497 million, right? Marvel Spider-Man 3, we know 385, but we don't know the split between those two. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, back in 2009. Development was 40 to 50 mil. Marketing was another 150 to 160 mil. Okay. Total was 200 mil. Total with inflation is 340 to 355 mil. Okay. Let me see if we can find a Gears on here. Gears 3. Back in 2011 was 48 to 60 mil for development cost. Okay. Now, I'm basing mine when I said 130 to 150. I would assume we're on Gear 6 now. And each one goes up about 20%, 30% from the last one before it. Okay. So we don't know the marketing. They say the total is 48 to 60 with inflation 65 to 81. So I would say right now a Gear 6 would probably still cost 110, 120, 130 mil. I mean, look at some of these games, man. Right? Grand Theft Auto 5, 137 mil. Red Dead Redemption 2, 170 mil. Halo 5 Guardians, 160 mil. Right? Final Fantasy 7 Remake, 144 mil. Resident Evil 2, 100 mil. A little less than 100 mil. I don't think they tell you what Gears 5 was. I tried to look it up. Let's see. Synopsis, plot, development, marketing, release. Yeah, they don't tell you, at least in the wiki. They don't share a lot of this information unless it breaks records. You know what I mean? Here's a perfect example. Gears of War 2 had a $12 million development budget. Okay, $12 million development budget. So now if we go back to Gears 3, where is it? Yeah. So Gears 2 had $12 million budget. Gears 3 had a $48 to $60 million budget. Okay. So add an additional 30 for Gears 4. Okay. That's 90 mil. Right? Add another 20 to 30 mil for Gears 5. That's probably 110, 120 mil. So now you're talking, you know what I mean? So that's how movies operate, right? A sequel to a movie is going to be about 30 to $60 million more than the first one. Come on, Travis. Spider-Man 2 over 300 million. Yeah, it's crazy, the amount of prices. And it's not just that, though. There's games that are much more expensive like that. We just happen to know what that price is, right? What's the PlayStation doing? $300 million for Spider-Man 2? Someone's skimming off the top. I think there's a bunch of stuff that goes on there, right? Sony doesn't own the rights to Spider-Man, so they got to pay Marvel for that, right? They own the rights to Spider-Man in the film industry. They don't own the Spider-Man rights, so we don't know the contract. They could have signed a deal where the first game they give the certain percentage here, and the second and third. We don't know that. What is PlayStation doing? We already read that. Kind of Game Pass good to know how only the first one hadn't sucked. Clip says, right, the game was not much different than the first one. Don't forget inflation, bro. I wasn't asking about Diablo 4, but yeah, Hellblade is on there today. For which one? I'm talking about Diablo 4, but yeah, Hellblade is on there day one. Oh, gotcha. Hellblade is in my top 5, was a masterpiece, and Hellblade 2 is my most anticipated. I never played it, never had any interest in it. I don't know if it's good or bad. I just never had any interest in it, Mo. That's also true, right? If you think about $300 million for that one console, Argus, where you look at a game like here on this list, right? Genshin Impact, 700, what is this? 700 million? But over the time that they've done it, let's see, Cyberpunk, 174, right? But at the same time, it's on multiple consoles. It was on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. It was on 5 consoles, right? Five consoles. And they paid 174. Meanwhile, Spider-Man was 300 million, 315 million for just PlayStation. Call of Duty. It's on all the consoles, right? Development, 40 to 50 million for Modern Warfare 2, right? The 2009 edition one, not the newest one. Yeah, we don't know what the newest one is. Look, Halo 2, 2004, 40 million. And that was made for PC and Xbox back then. Battlefield 4 in 2013 was 100 mil. But that's also across all platforms. I would argue that Red Dead Redemption 2 has way more going on in the game than Spider-Man and did for half the money. What is PlayStation doing? Honestly, I don't know how to break it down, Vandal. I honestly don't. It looks like here they don't break it down. We don't know what the development cost was compared to the marketing. It just says 315 million total. But nobody knows the marketing publicly. Right? So, I honestly, to put it in perspective, way back when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 in 2009 had a $40 to $50 million development. But yet they spent $150 to $160 million in marketing. So I don't know if Spider-Man 2 cost $300 million for development, or if it was split 100 for development and then $200 million for marketing. You know what I mean? I don't know if it was a 50-50 split. Don't know if it was a 60-40 split. Don't know if they even tell us if there was any marketing and it was just $350 million for the game itself. Right? They also don't tell us what it was for Miles Morales. Right? It just says 156 million on top of that. So within 3 years, right? The first Spider-Man, we have the number for the first Spider-Man on this list? They don't. They have Miles Morales, which is 156 million, but we don't know what the marketing was, and that was a smaller game. We have Marvel's Spider-Man 2 at 315. They're thinking that the next Spider-Man 3 is at 385 million. Come on, man. Clearly it was a dreaded 7 out of 10 split. For what do you mean, Travis? Hellblade 2 embargo up at 4 a.m. Eastern. Today or tomorrow? All right. Well, let me go into the next story, right? The next story is with EA. Okay. You guys like what I do here? We cover news stories, have a conversation. I go over the story live on air. I read the article, give you my thoughts and opinions based on the article itself, not based from outside sources or other people's thoughts and whatnot. I literally read it live to you, first time for myself, in front of you guys. If you like what I do, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Okay? So, EA is diverting 100% of Immortals of Aveum net sales revenue to Ascended Studios. Okay? So, with Immortal Aveum hitting EA Play and Xbox Game Pass, Electronic Arts is passing all the net sales revenue to its developer. Okay? Which is very interesting, because they let go of half the staff just a month after this game released. Okay, now obviously it looks like EA is trying to save face here, that they don't want to try to let go of the studio, completely shutting it down. They're trying to save them of what they are. So Immortals of Aveum developer Ascended Studios shared some fascinating news about the game's future today. In a blog post celebrating the game's debut on Xbox Game Pass, Electronic Arts EA Play subscription service, and the company announced that they're going forward, all revenue from the sales of the fantasy-themed first-person shooter will go straight into its own pockets. It seems that EA Games won't be collecting any revenue from those purchases. Ascended Studios will obviously still own platform fees to services like Steam and PlayStation Store. It says, quote, "For the foreseeable future, 100% of the net revenue from Immortals of Aveum purchasing going directly to our studio," the company said. "If you grab the game at full price or on sale, refer to a friend to check it out, pass or post content or social, or leave a review, all of it goes towards the supporting our studio and helps make it possible for us to create more games in the future. Your support truly matters." Okay. It's extremely rare to see a major publisher like EA shift the terms of publishing deal like this. The point of the publishing a game is the collective share of revenue at the point of sale. Ascended Studios may be been able to negotiate their compensation exchange to bring the game to more subscription platforms. Okay, so it says in the same announcement, Ascended Studios said that over 1.3 million people have played Immortals of Aveum to date. That number also would include both existing sales of the game and the players who acquired it through the PlayStation Plus in April. It's also may count the number of people playing the free demo on Steam. Now, the business operation of Ascended Studios have remained in the news months after the game release. The developer laid off half of its employees in 2023 after the game's slowed launch and furloughed a majority of its work in April of 2024. It doesn't paint a pretty financial picture for an independent studio, as the company's struggled CEO Brent Robinson said that the game may have suffered its sales due to the launch price point at $70. Getting to mark down more revenue every time someone purchases Immortals of Aveum is a good news for Ascended Studios. Hopefully they can help developers rebuild an extremely rough year. Now, here's an interesting part, right? I kind of said this about a game the other day with Marvel Rivals, and what else did I say? There was another game that came out. I said if it goes to game, but no, it wasn't Marvel. It wasn't Marvel Rivals. What game were we talking about last week? Maybe it'll come to me. But obviously, Microsoft gave them a check. Okay, we know that EA Play is on part of Game Pass. We know that Xbox now gave Immortals of Aveum Ascended Studios a chunk of cash. Now, whatever that cash was, if it was 50 mil, it was 100 mil, 2 mil, whatever it was, okay, however big or small it was, went directly to the studio. Okay, now this is pretty good for EA to do this. EA is usually the suckers out there that rip and chew out industry studios all the time. I mean, they literally let go of half the studio a month after this game came out because it didn't do very well. But now they're saying, hey, yeah. So PlayStation paid them money to put it on PlayStation Plus. Microsoft paid them to put it on Game Pass. And now, if you buy this game right now at the price point, whatever it's at, if it's at $40, $50, $60, whatever it is, all that money, 100% of it, goes towards the actual studio. Now, this is interesting because that means EA really wants the studio to stick around, even though they let half of their studio go. Okay, they're looking to put more money into the studio, meaning in the future that they're coming out with a second game. If it's Immortals of Aveum 2, or if it's another game down the road that they have in the works, maybe that the studio wants to work on. I think this is cool that EA is doing this, but a person like myself is like, okay, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Why are they doing this? Are they doing it to save the studio and looking like the good guy here? Or is there something else more going on behind the scenes that we won't know for like another year or two when it comes down to it? I don't know. Still to be seen. I think this is cool that they're saving the studio and putting all the money towards it. I think it's very, very good for what PlayStation Plus, what Sony's doing, or Xbox with Game Pass, and throwing money at these certain studios. We talked about this last week. A lot of studios need that upfront money where, yes, maybe they don't sell 2 million copies, but they do get that money up front from those publishers or people to put on Game Pass. So Microsoft gives you, for instance, Suicide Squad. If it came out like it was supposed to on Game Pass day and date when we saw the FTC, right, that's $250 million that we saw on that docket. Okay, well, that covers a crap ton of copies, 3.5 million copies sold. Okay, so if 3.5 million people or more played it on Game Pass, if it came out on Game Pass at that time, they would have made their money back easily, okay, because they already made that money up front, okay? Now, obviously, they didn't sell 3.5 million copies, but they had at least 3.5 million people that already paid for it because of Microsoft giving that advanced check, okay? So stuff like this with games coming onto Game Pass and people paying the money up front, yes, you're supporting the studio, but also Microsoft and PlayStation Plus, or Sony and Microsoft both gave money to the studio to help offset that cost. So now they can sell the game. If you guys in chat can check in whatever it is, I'm pretty sure it's like, what, $30, $40 now? It's probably not anywhere close to the 70 it came out at launch. So this is a good thing for studios. It's a good thing for Microsoft and PlayStation to put this on in April and now in May on Game Pass to offset the cost of it. I think this is good. Do you think it's something else going on behind the scenes? Maybe EA was going to shut them down. They said, you know what? We really don't need the money. We're making so much money from Madden and FIFA and all these other things for microtransactions that we could kind of offset the cost of this and put all the money that they make from this over to them. We don't need to take anything from them, which is, we talked about this in the past as well. If I make money, I can choose to spend the money wherever I want, right? If I want to buy a new microphone, if I want to buy something, a new computer, that's my business once I get that money. Okay, if I want to go blow it on alcohol, that's my choice. When these companies make all their money from all their games, they can decide where they want to move and shift the money from it. And Madden and FIFA are very successful. We know they're billion-dollar industries from just microtransactions itself. So it's nice to see that they're like, yeah, you know what? We don't need to charge what we're charging for this game. We can just put it out there, make money from Microsoft and Sony, and we'll give all the profits to the studio to save them. I think this is a good point, a good decision on EA's part. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what I do here, please check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Hookers and blow. You're seeing a trend for companies going on Game Pass and then tweeting out saying to the journalists, oh man, buying our games helps us. Yeah, because a lot of people think, well, if you help us buy the game, they already made the money from that studio or from the Game Pass or from PlayStation. They're going to make Ascendant Studios into their B game studio, in my opinion. Good, not great games. Argus says, even though we are all on Game Pass, will be all the companies eventually take the benefits of Game Pass, but guilt trip everyone to still buying it anyway, way after the fact. You know the reason so many of those games didn't sell well is that's because there's no $130 version. Suicide Squad was another game that wasn't bad. Most of the hate was from the blind Arkham games and the bad community interaction. Rocksteady is too quiet, and they need to listen to Arrowhead. That's a whole nother story. We had it. They came out with the actual release date for the season. It comes out in 2 days, 3 days. The 23rd. There's a major issue going on with Rocksteady. They are so quiet and saying absolutely nothing. They launched the update and didn't say when the release date was until 4 hours afterwards, and then they announced when the release date was for season or episode 2 for season 1. Was there a report out there that Ascendant Studios had shut down either way? Either way, I'd like to see more from the studio. They got rid of half of their staff, Jag. They got half of their staff 1 month after the game came out. See, I think it's a test, like what Argus just said, right? They're like, yeah, if you buy the game, it all goes towards the studio. Help the studio out. Here's what I go back to this every single time. How about you make a game and you sell a game? Which they did. But remember the marketing of this? They didn't do a very good job marketing the game. They just like came out at the last second and were like, oh yeah, we're launching a game. They showed it last summer and it came out in August, or didn't it? It's like a month later it came out. They had no faith in the game. They didn't want to put a lot of marketing behind it. Immortals of Aveum isn't a bad game, though. I didn't say it was a bad game, right? All I'm saying is make a game, sell a game. We, the people, let you know if the game is good or bad. Now, if they decided to spend way too much money making that game of a brand new IP that's not proven, that's on them, Mo. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a brand new IP. We don't know the budget of that, but if it was like $110 million on a brand new IP of an unproven thing, and the way they marketed it was first-person Call of Duty, but with magic, that's how they marketed it. That's not on us, right? I'm not supposed to be just blindly just handing out money to people, okay, because they made a game, right? You make a game. But if we only go with proven IP, we don't get anything but crap like Duke Nukem Forever. Travis, they have to market the game. If you're coming out with a brand new IP and you're spending $300 million on it, I'm not saying that's what they did, okay? You can't blow up the budget for the game that's never been proven, okay? You got to start off small and then build it up. I'll take some of that blindly hated out money, please. It just wasn't worth the $70 at all. I mean, Doom Eternal was a $60 game. It was way better. That's what I'm saying. They marketed it way high, $70 game. They didn't market it, actually, right? They pushed it out there as a $70 game. We're like, what is this? What are we getting? Forspoken was a good game despite reviews. The thing is, the market does what the market does. If you make a game and it doesn't look appealing to the masses, they're not going to buy it. And if your budget of your video game was way higher than it should have been, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you can make a game for $10 million and it could blow up. Okay? How much do we think Tunic cost? Right? I don't think Tunic costs more than 5 mil. 10 mil? Maybe? I don't even think it costs that much. We don't even know. There's no budget for what the game is. Okay? Games at $70 are not the way unless you're 2K, FIFA, and COD. I think if it's a brand new IP, it's going to be very hard to ask for $70 for a thing that's not proven. Just as there are people in the companies who pay for reviews, don't think they're companies who pay to sabotage reviews for the competitors. Just curious. I don't think... The only way you would have to do that, Travis, and again, in your you're asking a question, do people pay for sabotage? I wouldn't put it past anybody. But the only way I can see that happening is if two games, the exact games, were coming out at the exact same time, and then one was paying for a hate campaign against it, right? But at the same time, who's to say one does it, not both do it, right? So I don't know where you're going with that. People are going to like what they like and don't like what they don't like. Right, Vampire Survivor. Real simple game. Did they ask for $70? No. Just seem weird, the amount of hate against Suicide Squad. Well, Suicide Squad's a completely different thing, right? People were... It was like the perfect storm. It was people that didn't want... They didn't want a non-Batman game. Rocksteady came out. They didn't want a live service game. Look at Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2, when it came out with the microtransactions, didn't do anything different than the other games at that time that were coming out. Right? With Overwatch and all the other games that came out with microtransaction and loot boxes and all that stuff. They did nothing different. Nothing. But that was the catalyst that broke the back, that made it go to, you know, to a hearing, that they were doing surprise mechanics and not microtransactions. Okay? They didn't do anything different. They had microtransactions and loot boxes just like everybody else. But that game is what broke the camel's back. Right? Suicide Squad the exact same way. There's been live service games this entire time. This game came out, and that's what broke the camel's back for it. But Star Wars was beloved at the time? That's how people reacted? Well, no. It wasn't beloved at that time, Sarge. It was hated because it literally came out the same year as the Last Jedi. And that is the hate of the people that saw that film with that thing, and everything was just one big cycle of fuck you, Disney. Fuck you, Star Wars. And they still sold, I think, 12 million copies. So they didn't care. They didn't care. 12 million copies. It says here, how much money did EA lose on Battlefront 2? I don't think it lost anything. It says the budget was around $235 million. And I know they sold somewhere around 12 million to 15 million copies. Here it says 9 million copies. Okay. So obviously, even if it was 9 million copies and the budget was 235 million, Spider-Man's was 315. They sold 7 million copies. They broke even. So this sold 9 million copies, and the budget was much less as well. So obviously it was 7 years ago, but still. We have that story here, Paul, that we're going to go over. No, he's not pulling your leg. He's not pulling your leg. And we just brought it up a couple of weeks ago on GXG. We said, man, because we brought up Lord of the Rings, Battle for Middle Earth, and we were talking about Star Wars as well. We're like, man, I would take that game again. A modernized of that. Now, I haven't played a Total War in years. But if they brought a Star Wars Total War out, that'd be something I'm interested in. Right, Jones. Exactly. I might finally buy a Total War game. I have no idea if it's the sequel or not. I have no idea. All right, I want to go on to the next story. Next story. Microsoft will make changes to Xbox Game Pass tier because of Call of Duty, it's claimed. You guys like what I do here? I do this Monday through Thursday from 9 o'clock, or I'm sorry, from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. We cover news stories. I give you my thoughts and opinions. We have a conversation back and forth with live chat. If you like what I do, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. All right, so Microsoft to make changes to Xbox Game Pass tiers because of Call of Duty, it's claimed. Okay. Now, with the reports circulating that Microsoft is set to put Call of Duty Black Ops 6 onto Game Pass at launch, the company appears to be ready to make changes to the service tiers as well. According to multiple insiders, Xbox Game Pass is set to receive changes to its tiers due to the addition of Call of Duty. It says, quote, "We can assure you that the changes are coming to Xbox Game Pass tiers mainly due to Call of Duty's insider Extra One STV. He posted on Twitter. There's also still things to confirm, but I hope to report back soon. It says this was also followed up by Shinobi 602 on Reset Era saying there will be changes, yes. Whether this means price changes or simply adding another premium tier remains to be seen, but it also seems clear that more changes are in the store for Xbox Game Pass. Currently, the service has 3 total plans. There's Xbox Game Pass Core for consoles that replace Xbox Live Gold for $10 a month. There's Game Pass PC for $10 a month. And there's also Xbox Game Pass Ultimate that covers both console and PC for $16.99 a month. Insider Gaming has also reached out to Microsoft for comment on these reports and should be responsive to receive the story that will also be updated accordingly. Now, I've been talking about a price increase for some time. Okay, I said maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but there will be a price increase. And when Activision's thing went through, I said they probably will raise the price, put all the Activision games on there. Now, obviously, I don't know if they make an Activision tier. I personally think that they make an Activision Blizzard, but they put, all the MMOs on there, right? They put, they have already Final Fantasy on there. They already have Elder Scrolls on there. I believe that, World of Warcraft is coming. I believe they've already put Diablo 4 on there. I believe that the value now is going to be representative there because, again, we've had this conversation over the years. How high do you go? $15, $18, $20. What's the price point? Do you go, you know what? It's not worth the price point anymore. $25. Is it $30? Who knows? Obviously, we know the price is always going to go up. It's never going to go back down. So I believe that the price does go up, but not just because of Call of Duty. I think because of the Activision Blizzard titles that are all coming over to Game Pass, right? They paid $70 billion or $69.2 billion for the actual, the company. So what do you think they're going to do with it? Obviously, they're going to take Call of Duty and put it on the streaming service because if you have a choice as a consumer, you can be on PlayStation, you pay $70 just like you do right now and still play your Call of Duty games on your PlayStation. You can play Call of Duty on the PC and pay your money just like you do right now. Or if you're an Xbox person, you don't longer have to pay for Call of Duty. You can just pay and play for Game Pass and get that single player campaign and the multiplayer on Game Pass. Okay. So it almost like frees up $60 to $70 off the people that are playing over here. Yes, you're paying $15 if you're playing on the PC Ultimate, or maybe you're just getting the core or whatever it is. If they add that other tier and it's just Activision or Call of Duty's in there or Activision games are in there, it's a smart move, right? Obviously, the ultimate price, I think, will be everything will be in that price, and then that will be up to about $20 is what I think. Okay, once they do this, I think you're going to get the World of Warcrafts. I think you're going to get the Call of Duties. You're going to get the backlog of all the Activision games. If they put the Ultimate Alliance on there, if they put the Transformers games on there, yes, these are older games, but there's a slew of Activision games in the vault, I would say, that they could bring out and put on the Game Pass, and that would be a big value for people. Okay, you got to remember, there's a lot of people out there that never ever played these older games. Okay, there's a lot of gamers that are starting to be gamers again that they've missed 10 years of their life or 15 years of their life because they were kids, they went to college, they started a family, and now they're playing games again because maybe their kids are a little grown up and now they're playing games. So there's a big gap of people that never played these games back in the past, and maybe there's a nostalgia there. Maybe they want to play it for the very first time, and yet they don't want to go out and pay $200 to get the Transformers Fall of Cybertron, okay? And they could just pay $10 a month, or they could pay $20 a month and try all these old games out. So now you look at some of the journalists are writing. They're like, I don't know how they're going to survive this. They're going to ruin what Call of Duty is. Are they? Because think about this. If Call of Duty is on Game Pass and there's the smallest group of people, right? According to the people that hate Xbox and Microsoft, it's the smallest group of people that are playing the game for now a small fee. And then the majority of the people that play Call of Duty are still playing it on the console of their choice, which is either PlayStation or PC. So if they play it on PlayStation, now the ball's in their court. Do they buy that $70 version of PlayStation again? Or do they decide to pay $15, $20 to try it out on Xbox Game Pass on their Samsung television or their laptop or whatever, on their mobile phone? Who knows, right? This is a win-win for Microsoft because not only is now more value on Game Pass, okay, but now more people are like, wait a minute. I just play that. I don't want to pay $70. I could just pay $15. I could just pay $10. I could just pay $20 and just do Call of Duty for a little bit. I mean, look at Ubisoft, what they're doing right now. You can either pay $70, $110, $130, or $18 to play the game of either Assassin's Creed Shadows or Star Wars Outlaws or whatever else game they have on the platform. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think is going to happen with the Game Pass going into the future with Call of Duty? Do you think they're going to be putting Call of Duty on the Game Pass? And if so, how high do you think that price goes if they do raise it up to 20 or 25? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, please check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. COD's already basically following a free-to-play model. Sure, but now there's a campaign, right? And the campaign was short last time. Well, now you could just go to Game Pass. People play Call of Duty. I thought that you started the game up, see the logo, and then boom, game is complete. Roll credits. Sarge says Magic, Empire at War, Star Wars, Knotted Warhammer, Total 3, Knotted Battle for Middle Earth 2, Hacked, Dawn of War, originally Knotted. Mo says, Scuttlebutt says, it's not fair for everybody should have to pay for COD. It should be illegal. What? Illegal? I don't know if there's more value because the price is going to go up or for all those old-ass games. Value is perception, though, Rose. Right? I'll be honest. If I didn't own the Transformers games and I went out and bought Transformers again, the Fall of Cybertron, right? I paid $40 for it. Okay? If I wanted to play that again and it was on Game Pass and I had to pay $20 for that month to play the game again, that's worth it for me, right? If I had the first two games on there, I like to own it personally, but if I couldn't own it anymore and it was $200 on eBay, or if it was $40 or $20 on Game Pass, guess what I'm playing? There were tweets out there saying it should be illegal. I don't understand, though. How is it illegal? Why should it be illegal, though, Mo, from their... And again, I'm asking you like you know how they think, but if you have a PlayStation right now, Call of Duty is not changing. Call of Duty is still on your platform that you're going to be paying for $70 each and every single year, just like you do Madden just like you do FIFA, just like you do all the other games, right? Call of Duty is the exact same thing. You're not losing out as a PlayStation or PC guy, right? You're just buying the game just like you do every single year. The only difference is that other people that are on Xbox, which is the smallest group of people, right? That those people hate. They get to pay $20 to play that game or all the other 100 games that are on there, right? Because it's not just that game for $20. It's the other games they're also putting on the list. I personally think if they put World of Warcraft on there and it's part of that $20, if it raises up to $20 and World of Warcraft is part of the console, that alone is worth the $20, right? That alone is worth the $20. Krebsy says, what's core trait for Game Pass? It's value. A large portion of COD community only plays COD. Therefore, it would be cheaper to buy a game than sub to Game Pass. Sure. But again, those people are not changing. They can still buy their game. I've been seeing articles. Looks like Xbox is going full send and putting new Call of Duty on Game Pass for sure. Kylo says Infinite Warfare is probably the worst in the franchise, but they also had to remaster COD 4, weigh out the poor sales, and knew the game was going to have. Travis says there's a tweet saying that the Civil War is a myth. We need to normalize ignoring dumb people. I already own those games on disc. Yeah, but Rose, you're also mostly a PlayStation guy. Right? So this doesn't really affect you, right? But they want us Xbox guys to be able to rub it in their faces. They have to pay $70 full price. And if we get it free, our Game Pass will supposedly... Right, but if you want to pay $70 for that game, by all means, go ahead. You don't have to get an Xbox, right? I personally feel that $20 is too high for a subscription service. I mean, let's see something real fast. Netflix right now, standard with ads, $7. Standard a month extra member slots is $15.49. And can be added for $7.99 each month. And premium is $22.99. Okay. Let's see. Disney Plus. Disney Plus a month is $10. Duo Premium with Hulu no ads monthly is $20, and Disney Bundle Trio Basic is $8 to $25, right? The market bears what the market bears. And I agree with you. We've had this conversation in the past. I'm like, 20 is 20 too much? Is 25 too much? Right? The value is still there. There's hundreds of games on there. And majority of the people that would probably get it probably haven't played the majority of the games that are on that platform. Whatever platform it is. If it's PlayStation Plus, if it's Luna, if it's EA Play, if it's... Right? Like, if I got $18 a month Ubisoft Plus, I'm missing 5, 6 Assassin's Creed games. Would it be worth it for me to go buy those games? And then with all the DLC? Or would it be better for me to pay $18 for a month or two and then play the 7 Assassin's Creed games I haven't played? They're older games, but I haven't played them. Over $20 is too much for me. These people might say it's illegal due to the Ubisoft controlling their Activision Blizzard games land of the cloud, and Game Pass Ultimate has cloud attached. Now, this doesn't keep off Game Pass, but it could see as an avenue for confusion. Remember, half of each of those people, Xbox and PlayStation, are last gen, meaning Little man is looking good to those COD only players. That's true, Mo, right? Half the people still have PlayStation 4s and half the people are still on Xbox's 1s, right? That they haven't come over yet. And the difference now is half the people that own a PlayStation 4 that haven't upgraded to a PlayStation 5 yet for whatever reason, maybe they're not getting a PlayStation 5. Maybe just too in the era that we're in, maybe it's too expensive, and they're also not going to get an Xbox either. Okay? But they have a television set that can get Game Pass, right? Where they can pay the $20, and maybe they don't want to pay Game Pass for the entire year, right? They only want you to pay for that 1 a month or 3 months or whatever it is. It's a good point, right? A lot of the Xbox people, maybe they don't buy an Xbox either. PlayStation guys don't buy a PlayStation or an Xbox, but they can get Game Pass and try it out for a month. They're going to buy a burner Xbox Series S that's some with a free month of Game Pass so they can keep cheating in COD and be the cheapest band workaround. True. For the hardcore people, I just canceled my Disney Plus. It got way too expensive for the content. And I agree with you there. I agree with you there, Rose. Legoland was cool. Legoland was cool. I'm exhausted. My body is very sore. They had their water park in the back of the park. Okay. So we wore our water shoes and stuff, and we have to walk through the entire park to get to the water park. So like a hard concrete with the water shoes and stuff like that. My legs and my feet are hurting me today. Nice day because it was like overcast. So as you can tell, I'm not too burnt in any way, shape, or form. It was a fun time. It was a fun time. It was my first time in the water park there. And it's probably our last time because Legoland is a small kid park. And it's an awesome small kid park. It really is. Okay. If you have a kid that's like 4 to like 10, go to Legoland. Go to Legoland. 10, if they've never been to a park before, it's good for them. But if they've been there, if they've been to that park or they've been to another theme park, they're going to get bored for older kids. But if you have a young kid, it's awesome for them. It's a theme park built for kids. That or they'll buy a Series S because it's the cheapest route of COD amongst the main platforms. That's true as well. Here it says, yeah, remember those days when you had to beg your parents to buy you a game each month for $50? Yeah. One of the reasons I got a job back in the day was because my parents wouldn't buy those games anymore. So I got a job. And then I would use my money and buy the games that I wanted. $140 a year is way too expensive. Goodbye, mouse. Are they teaming up now? They're teaming up with Paramount, and then HBO's teaming up with Netflix and someone else to make cable again. It's amazing. Right. Right, we had Christmas, so we get double the games during Christmas, and then my birthday's in May, and then his is in July. Mo says, bundle 1 to 3 month Game Pass with the S with COD on Xbox, especially for fall season. Fly off the shelf. I still stick what I said, Mo. I think they come out with that Keystone, that Chromecast, that dongle that you plug into a television set. You get that and a controller with 3 months of Game Pass. Those would fly off the shelves. People would buy them and wouldn't even tell you they bought them. They're like, no, I fucking hate that. Meanwhile, they have one in their house. So cheap. My son, okay, for me, Game Pass is not a great value because I played a lot of those games that are on Game Pass. But my son, he loves it. Loves it. For all the games that are on there and all the things she gets to try and the new games that come out every single month, it's 100% worth the price point for just him. Right? It's his blockbuster. It's his blockbuster. They would actually fly off the shelves, unlike the PlayStation Portal. Because it would be a spontaneous buy. You know what I mean, Argus? It would be a spontaneous buy. Oh yeah, Mo. You're constantly playing. I don't even know how you do it. Is your job just playing video games? Because you play a shit ton of games, my friend. I spend way more per month with rentals. Well, that makes... And look, Rose, 100% understand that. 100% understand that, right? My time... I don't get to play a lot of... You guys think I play a lot of games. I don't get to play as much anymore as I wanted to, right? Like, I play on Monday nights. I play on Tuesday nights. I play on Wednesday nights. Okay, for what? 2 hours? 3 hours? And that's more than... What I play on stream in the evenings, for a lot of people, that is a month's worth of playtime. I have a buddy of mine, my best friend, plays maybe 2 hours a week. Maybe 2 hours a week. Okay? Right? You have responsibilities and stuff. If I didn't have my son and I was just myself, it wouldn't be a value for me. I would play 1 or 2 games here or there because I would just buy the game that I'm interested in and play the shit out of that. But now my son, he's like, I want to play that game. Can we get this game? I want to play this game. I want to play that game. I want to play this game. Right? Like, right now, he went back and started playing this weekend because of Legoland. He started playing Star Wars Lego Saga. Okay? Now he's going back into that, and he's playing that. So when he comes back from school today, he's like, hey, can you help me? I'm trying to get a certain amount of coins because I want to buy this ship and stuff inside the game. Right? So if I had to buy him that game, right, it's still like full price. It's like $60. Right? He might play it for 3 days and be done with it. But because, well, technically I bought that game for him on Switch. He's playing on Switch. But the point is, it's on Game Pass, right? If I didn't buy it for him as Switch, and it wasn't on Game Pass, I would have to buy the game, then he'd play it for 3 days, and then would put it down. It's one of the games I bought on the Switch. I was totally worth it. Mo was a tester of games. He plays a lot of games, man. He knows a lot about a lot of games. Argus says, this is why I minimize my responsibilities as much as possible so I can be a degenerate gamer. And my son lives with his mother in another state most of the time, so ultra degenerate gamer activities. Hey, man, whatever keeps you busy. Whatever keeps you busy. I play on stream, and then right when I get off stream for the last month, I've been playing Fallout 76, but only for 30 minutes or 40 minutes. Because I get off, I do my dailies, and then I log out. Swanson. Come on, Makoki. What's the highest you think they could go with Game Pass and still be worth it? Like, right now, Makoki, or are you talking about, in the future? Like, what's the highest they can go right now? We talked about it. Remember when the people were talking about the family plans? And I said they would charge $25 for the family plans? I think they go as high right now with the rumors, with the Activision stuff, $20. I do believe they just go up $2, okay, if they're making Ultimate into the next tier. If there's a separate tier, which is like Ultimate with Activision or whatever, maybe they put World of Warcraft in there, I can see them going to 25. Now, the highest I can see them going, I don't know. I can't tell you that because I don't know what the value is 5 years from now. Not the value of Game Pass, the value of money. Like, I think it's 20, 24 Ultimate, and 25 for like the family plan is what I think they're going to do. $30 for the family plan would be fine. 5 users per sub. Boy, I only have 2 kids. I only have 1 kid, so the family plan wouldn't be worth it, but I guess it would be. But I've talked about this in the past, Paul. I'm paying right now. I pay for 1, and my son gets to play on my account. It's his account and my account on Game Pass. So going up to a family plan would dick me, right? Because I'm paying double the price. I don't know if that's worth it. You can't do year in advance, I don't think, Jones. I think the most you can do is 3-month increments, I think now. I might stand corrected on that, but I'm pretty sure you got to pay 3 months in advance. I don't think you can go more than 3 months. Water says $39.99. That's way too much. Maybe down the road, Water. Not right now. There's no way. When Hellblade doesn't sell well, is Ninja Theory in trouble? I don't know. For what we get for Tango Games had nothing in the works. Right? They were looking for their next thing. They're just sitting around doing nothing. Right? So they let them go. Maybe Ninja Theory has something going on. Maybe they close them out. Maybe they move them over to a different studio. They could be in trouble. But it all depends on... We would have to know what the budget is compared to what the ratio of people that get Game Pass to play it. I've talked about this in the past, B. If it costs 50... If it costs... is it $50? Is it $50? Right? If it's... It needs to sell... Let's say it needs 1 million people to buy the game. Okay? If it needs 1 million people to buy the game, yeah, there you go. Mo's saying it right now. Hellblade needs to sell 1 million to break even. So if it needs to sell 1 million copies, then you have to have 3 million people play it on Game Pass. Or it actually would be like 4 million people play on Game Pass if it's a $50 game. Or, I'm sorry, if it's a $40 game, you would need 4 million people. Yeah, $50. All right, so you need 5 million people. Okay, 5 million people to pay Game Pass. No. I stand corrected. If it's a $50 game, okay, you need 5 times the amount of people. So you either sell 1 million copies, okay, and you need 5 million per... so you need... Is that right? You need 15 million people to try the game out on Game Pass for that month. Let me my brain. Give me 1 second as I'm spewing numbers here. Hold on 1 second. $50. If you get Ultimate's what? $16.99, $18.99, whatever it is. It all depends that we'll just say the average is $10. We'll just say the average is $10. Okay. So if it's a $50 game, one person buys Hellblade for 1 copy is $50. That's one person, $50. Now you need 5 people to get Game Pass and play Hellblade that same day, and that also counts as 1 copy. So you need 5 times the amount of people. So if no one buys Hellblade, and they all play it, you need 5 times the amount of people to play it on Game Pass to make that money back. You see what I'm saying? That's at $10 a pop. Now, obviously, there's people that have the Ultimate Edition, which is $18 or whatever. That's like 1.5 people. So technically, if everyone that had Ultimate was playing that game or tried that game out for Game Pass, then you would only need 1.5 people instead of... You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Am I making sense? People are going to be mad if it's a 4-hour game, but it's only pretty fuck out of here. I think people will get mad if they paid $70 for that game or $50 for that game, and it was 4 hours. But if you're paying on Game Pass, I don't think you can be mad, right? Because you're not paying that money for that one game. You're paying for that service, and that game is on that service. I mean, you could be mad. I'm just saying. Can we stop saying Tango was not working on anything? That's bullshit. Tango was not working on Hi-Fi Rush 2 because Microsoft had them porting the first game to PlayStation. They got fucked. Well, no. I'm going by what they've said, Lurker. They said they weren't working on anything. They weren't working on anything new. I don't think they're just sitting in an office like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like shooting like paper airplanes across the thing trying to get in the basket. Hey, Ted, what's going on? What you guys doing? Nothing. You know, same old. We're done making that game, so we're just kind of just throwing... They had nothing new. So they're like, we're letting him go. They weren't working on anything that they were pitching. Right. Not released on Nintendo yet. Tango were pitching ideas, but not actively working on any new games. This is not how you get the money these days. Right. I didn't say anything false. They weren't working on anything. You make money by working on new games. They had no new games in the works, and they were like, we're going to make Hi-Fi Rush 2. They're like, I don't think so. Sorry. You got to remember, Hi-Fi Rush is a great game. Hi-Fi Rush was a fantastic game. It's also a rhythm game. Right? A lot of people don't have rhythm. It's a turnoff for a lot of people. The people that liked it, liked it. But there's a lot of people that didn't play it, and the people that did play it, they didn't come anywhere close to finishing it. Let me look at some of these stats here. Yeah, here you go. Here's a great stat for you. Right? I'm sure everyone really, really loved this game and played the game. Easy listening. Finish the game completing every level on the easiest difficulty. 4%. Finish the game on completely every level on normal difficulty. 22%. Right? Obviously, easy is too hard, easy, and people didn't play it. Okay? Okay. Finish the game on completely every level on hard difficulty. 6%. Okay? So 22% of the population of 3 million, 4 million people that played the game, right? 22% finished the game on normal. So a combined total of 6, 10, we have 32% of the people that played the game finished the game. So I don't want to hear a lot of people saying that, oh, it's such a good game. Like, 32% of the people finished the actual game. 30, remember Ghostwire 2 was in the leaked documents, how things change. Hi-Fi Rush was fully optimized and bug-free. Yeah, it was a game. They made a game and they sold a game. Unfortunately, it wasn't popular. And that has nothing to do, it was a really good game. But a lot of people didn't like it because it was a rhythm game. I think Tango was in super early stages on the next game. I remember seeing that they were hiring people with Unreal Engine 5 experience. This was like 6 to 12 months ago, I think. Yeah, 1% of the population did all the missions on Rhythm Master difficulty. Here's a really interesting stat for you. Here's a really interesting stat for all those people that love this game and played it for so long. Thanks for the free chip, Peppermint. Purchase and equip your first upgrade chip. Purchase and equip your first upgrade chip, which is pretty early on in the game. 64%. Right? Purchase and equip your first special attack. 49%. Right? So please. And I'm one of the people that bought the game. Mike, aren't those stats similar to other games? I mean, they could be. We would have to go to other games and look. But most people, 50% don't even finish the games they have. Right? Most of them don't even get to the halfway point of the game. Only 50% of the people got to the first part of the game where you upgrade a chip. Right? It's not even about finishing the game. They didn't even get to the point of the game where it's pretty early on where you get your first ability. Be right back. I'm going to go buy a game on Steam and never play it. How many people do you think fully upgraded their health bar? Right, that's going pretty far in the game. How many people do you think? Right, here's one. Right? Here's one. Destroy 50 barriers. Actually, I'm sorry. Shatter 10 enemy shields. Okay. 10 enemy shields by calling one of your guys in. 44%. Less than half people destroy 10 enemy shields. Successfully parry with a perfect timing 15 times. 55%. not working on anything new. That day they got canned. I'm just saying this would be 15 months into the new game if they didn't have to port the old. That's not true either, though, because what you're saying, though, Lurker, is that the same people that are porting the game are the same people that are making the game, and I don't think that's true. I think there's people in the studio that are people that port the game. I think there's people also that make level designs. I think there's people that do the writing. I think there's people that do right. So, like, if a game is working, if it's a studio that's working on multiple games, okay, like a Call of Duty or like a I'm trying to think of another game that. Insomniac working on Spider-Man 1 and Miles and 2, right? And 3 and Wolverine or whatever, right? It's a perfect example for a studio. That studio is working on Spider-Man 1. They're an early concept of the game. They have concept drawings. That artist is making the concept drawings, and then all of a sudden now they have level designers. And then those people are working on the level design. And once they're done making the level design for Spider-Man 1, they're done. That part of their game is done. So those people move on, and they're like, what are we doing next? Well, now that you're done making the level design for these guys, you guys are going on to the next game, right? You're working on the next game, and now you're making the next level design or whatever for the next game we're working on in our studio, which might be Miles Morales, right? And so on and so forth, okay? And then the people that are the art team, they're working on the art department, and then they're doing the art style. It's never of everyone on, everyone off. It's moving across. So, like, this team is working on something until it gets to a certain point, and then the next team comes in and they take it and they hand it off. It's like a relay race, okay? Sure, I think there's people, okay, that do all things. There might be a person of many traits on a team, right? One person knows how to do this, and another person has to do that. But for the most part, they're teams of people. So when it's time to port stuff, I believe that's a completely different team than the people that made the actual game. If those Steam players had the a PSN log on, you probably have a better correct numbers. Well, this is just literally just for Xbox players. This is before the ports and stuff that came out. This is Xbox and PC achievement stuff. %30 game completion is pretty standard. Sure, Makoki. But an achievement where you can get while you're sleeping by, like, logging in. It says, like, go through the first board, and it says, like, 5%. You can tell how many people finished the game and how many people actually played the game. You see what I'm saying? Certain achievements show your hand of how many people went through the game and played it. Like, you would get most of these achievements by just playing the game. Not, like, specifically going for, like, killing 100 guys. Like, you would kill 100 guys throughout the game by just playing the game. How do you know they didn't already have the PlayStation title before they were bought? Sure. Is there a doc on game development behind the scenes from PlayStation or Xbox? Is there a doc on game? Oh, like a documentary? I don't think so. Where I get my knowledge from, Machiavelli, is that I went to school with a bunch of game designers. I went to Full Sail years ago, and I still keep in touch with a lot of developers, or a lot of, developers, people that work in the industry, that are my buddies that I went to school with. And they tell me how stuff operates, not in detail form, but like what I just told you. Like, there's different sections. Like the accountant's not doing the building of a company as well. You know what I mean? Like, the accountant's just doing the numbers for that job, and then the next job comes in, they're doing the accounting for that job as well, right? Like, that person's not building and also doing all the numbers and stuff like that, right? There's lots of different departments inside of the video game industry, just like there is for the film industry, just like there is for the music industry. Game development is interesting. I see how they do stuff and operate. Yeah, I would love to talk to someone, sit down with somebody, and actually, but a lot of them don't want to talk. A lot of them don't want to talk because they're afraid they're going to get blacklisted in some way, shape, or form, or say something that might get them in trouble. Well, sure, Mo. If you're independent and there's 5 people in your studio, you're going to be wearing multiple hats. For sure. Or you also bring in someone contractually to do certain jobs that you guys don't have. And then at the end of the job, maybe you hire that person. I would like Phil Spencer's biopic starring Dwayne Johnson as Phil. Have you reached out to anyone? And could you do a Discord call? I could reach out to people, but a lot of my friends just don't want to talk. And I don't blame them. I don't talk a lot about my industry. There's a lot of stuff I could say as well, even though I'm out of the industry. But if I ever talk too much into too much detail, then I could potentially get blacklisted if I ever wanted to go back in, if that makes sense. It's a club, you know what I mean? And you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you, if that makes sense. Exactly, Jones. Right? They're doing the thing that they love to do. And they don't want to, and I personally wouldn't ask those people to kind of wreck the friendship that I have with them. You know what I mean? Like if there's an outsider that wants to talk about it, and I would never dig into someone so deep that I'm trying to make them. I'm not like what was that news show with Barbara Walters? You know what I mean? Like investigative reporting or anything like that. I would just want to know, like, hey, when something happens, like the very generic type of stuff. But a lot of people won't even give you the time of day for that because they're afraid that they would say something. Like, what's that guy you guys told me about? The one that worked for Blizzard. He worked for StarCraft. I always forget his name that you guys tell me. I don't watch him, so right? He talks about stuff with his own experience. And the couple of clips I've seen him, he doesn't go into too detail, but he tells you his experience based on it. But I don't think he's going back into game design, so he can say what he wants because I don't think he's afraid of getting blacklisted anymore. Hired Software, there you go. Magic Dolphin's like Barbara Walters. Misrepresented the gaming industry, not like a car maintenance where you can just set standards for hours and how long the certain takes should take, how much the task should be charged. I think his real name is Thor. Yeah, that's a cool name. Yeah, I'm not trying to end people's careers. You know what I mean? I just want to know more. I just like learning stuff. You know what I mean? Like when you watch those video documentaries and stuff like that on like YouTube about, I don't know, how bowling balls are made or how glass is made, right? It's just something that you're interested in. And you're like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. And now you've educated yourself a little bit more. I know bits and pieces of the industry, but I would love to know more behind it, but no one's ever going to say it because they don't want to blacklist themselves. Right, Jones? Companies say you represent them on social media while also not representing them. Here's the best part. I love that certain developers that are working on games, they come out and speak out against, not per se myself, but just YouTubers in general. They say stuff that they have no idea what they're talking about. Hence why I don't really talk about, like, I know this, right? Like, I tell you certain things, but they say that people don't know what they're talking about, but yet they don't want to come out and tell you what it is. That's the interesting part to me, right? They'll come out and say that these people don't know what they're talking about, but they also don't want to say what it is. And that's the interesting part. What's going to happen is game design is becoming so, I don't want to say easy, but it's opening up to a lot more people, because one person can make a game now and understand what certain things happen. And working for a corporation is completely different than working for yourself. That's across the board. It doesn't matter what business you're in or what industry you're in. Okay? But more people are going to start understanding, because those people that are making a game for themselves or making a mod or making something else, they have experience now and they can come out and say certain things. I think those things are interesting, but I think complete games are more interesting. Here's a behind-the-scenes look at how we rushed the game out the door. This is why I don't speak in absolutes with the gaming industry, and I always go back to my experience with the film industry and kind of correlate it with that. Because it's not a one-to-one, but there's a lot of stuff that's exactly the same because of the business that we're in. Okay, now obviously I'm not working on a movie or a television show for 5 years. Okay, unless you're working on a show back in the days like a sitcom. And even then, you're not working on it for exclusively for 5 years. You're working on it for like 6 months, and then you're gone until the next season starts, and then you film it, and you continue on. But for the most part, I can correlate what they do based on conversations I've had with my friends that are still in the industry that work for companies. Okay, and I don't talk to them like every day. I might talk to them like once a year. Hey, what's going on? You know, passing through a text or through social media or whatnot. Okay, but other than that, it's just a correlation of they knew what they were getting into before they started the business, right? They knew it was long hours. They knew that your contract workers. They knew that their dream job is to work for a said company, and if they get to work with that company, you know. But then sometimes it's like knowing your heroes, right? They say never know your heroes because you'll get disappointed. Sometimes people work for a company they wanted to work for, and then once they work for that company, they're like, nah, I never want to work for that company again, right? I wonder how much the industry is contract work like movies. I don't know. I'm gonna have to reach out. I'm gonna have to reach out and see, because I would think it's more than full time. It is in the film industry. We all, if you're a camera guy, you're trying to get into your local sports arena. Like if you can get in with the hockey team or the football team or not the baseball. If you get with the baseball team or the basketball team or the hockey team, it's fantastic, right? Because you're working 3-4 days a week, you're making good money, okay? And that's, 80 games, 40 games. You know what I mean? You're pretty consistent. NFL, you're only getting 8, maybe 9 if they win the playoffs or whatnot. So you're really looking to get in on that staff. If you're in the film industry, you're looking for working with. You're never going to work with the same like director again and again, because movies are far and few in between for sequels. Okay, like there's like Fast and Furious 7. I doubt the same crew that worked on 1 is working on 7. Possible. I know all the crew that worked on Pirates of the Caribbean 1, 2, and 3. Right? They were the same. Every time they went to the next movie, they would call the same staff. A couple people missing here and there. Same people that worked on Pirates of the Caribbean also worked on like Miami Vice when that came out. So you work with the same crew, but not everybody, right? You really want that like sitcom type of stuff, like Seinfeld, Big Bang Theory, Cheers, something that lasts for like 5, 6, 7 years. That's what everyone's looking for, that consistent paycheck. You get an anniversary documentary like Half-Life, and you get disgruntled employees talking to the media for a Rush game. Right, because they get pissed off. Titan says, a lot of artists are outsourced for AAA games I played. Robert Jones says, like, only it seems viable to keep a staff if you're continuously making and selling games. Correct. And this is why you look at a company like EA, right, where DICE is working on the next Battlefield game, or COD has got 3 separate studios working on, because it takes so long, 3 to 5 years to make a game. So once they're done with that one Call of Duty game, they're already working on the next Call of Duty game because they know they're in that cycle. Right? Then you have people like Bungie, where the live service crew, they're working on the same game for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. And then there's the artists that get burnt out because they're working on the same thing over and over and over. There's people that want to work for stability and work on, they want to get that check, but they also don't want to work on the same game all the time. This is why a lot of, I would think, in my opinion, why a lot of heads of the studio that started at the studio, once they get bought up by the company, they leave the studio to start their next studio. Because they know if they stay with that studio, they're making the same thing over and over. And as an artist, you don't want to make the same thing over and over. You want to, put a broad of your portfolio out there, and you worked on many different things. Like, nobody wants to work on the same show for 10 years, right? You want to work on multiple shows for 10 years. Sure, you worked on Seinfeld for 10 years, but you also want to work on a movie or a commercial in the times that you're not working on the show, right? So I would assume that the artists of video game studios that started making that game, look at Hello Games, right? Sean Murray didn't just work on, No Man's Sky for the last 7 to 10 years, right? He's made 2 other games since then. All right, the last story I want to talk about is a rumor. I saw this and I was excited. I was like, ooh. Okay, Creative Assembly is developing a Star Wars Total War game, it's claimed. Okay, a new report for DualShocker has claimed that the Creative Assembly is developing a new Total War game based on Star Wars universe. Okay, hopefully it's the original Star Wars universe and not like the High Republic. Okay, because that would suck. Okay. According to the outlet report, total of 3 different Total War games are in development. Total War Star Wars, or whatever it will be called, will apparently be the second game of the 3 to release, but it's unclear on how long the game has left in development. Okay. It says the first got wind of futuristic Total War game in late 2022, and several other secondhand sources reaching out since they also stating that the game is also based in Star Wars universe. So, in my opinion, at least the rumor has also a lot of credence to likely real. Currently, Creative Assembly is developing a massive update to Total War Pharaoh. Listed as also projects that officially get announced following the cancellation of the other unannounced projects in late 2023. Now, Sega announced that the cancellation of some Creative Assembly's projects and the staff reduction were to reduce the various of cost. Now, the company said that it's also reduced the various fixed costs of multiple group companies in the region centered around Creative Assembly. Is expected to occur one-time costs related to fixed cost reductions. Creative Assembly, also most expensive project to date, is also by a lot of accounts almost ready to be released. Okay, so what do you think about the Star Wars Total War game? Let us know. I mean, I'm excited. I loved. Let me bring up. I would love the Star Wars game like Total War. I loved back in the day of Lord of the Rings, Battle for Middle-earth, which Sarge is playing now and whatnot. I think this would be great if it came out. We just talked about this, I guess it was about a month and a half ago when we talked about it, right? I would love a game like this, especially if it's back into the Clone War era. Actually, just do the battle sequences from 1 through 6. Obviously, they'll probably add 7, 8, and 9 inside there as well, so you have the New Order and whatnot. Cool. hopefully they don't go out far outside of the Star Wars realm and be like, well, we're going to show you the High Republic or the Old Republic. And it's like, no, just do what people want, which is the Clone Wars or the Empire, Galactic Empire type of stuff. That's what I'm saying, Ghost Fixer. Like, it's, to me, it's like a no-brainer. Just like the no-brainer of making the... I don't know why you're not making a Battlefront 3 for Star Wars. I mean, literally that game would sell. You have to know that game would sell because Star Wars Battlefront 2 is very successful, and yet people still play it to this day. So if you just made Star Wars Battlefront 3 and didn't try to sneak in microtransactions or anything like that, just sold the game for what it is, it would be a good game. Put a single player, put a multiplayer, put a story mission, done. This, I would love. Just recreate the game. Let me do Total War. Let me do the Hoth battle. Let me do the Geonosis battle. Let me do the Naboo battle. Let me do all the other battles, maybe even from the extended universe. Right? Be pretty badass. Let me be Thrawn. Let me use Thrawn as the leader of one of my factions. Oh, I want to show this. This was the Multiverses. I want to talk about Multiverses as well. So I'm excited about the Star Wars Total War. Hopefully that comes out probably a year from now. Krebsy says Star Wars game, but you combine Helldivers and Total War. Be pretty cool, Krebsy. That'd be pretty I was gonna say that'd be pretty Krebsy. That would be really cool if you did something like that. Total Warhammer has a lot of DLC packs. Yeah, and you can just constantly update it. But look, a lot of people like Star Wars because of the battles. Let them recreate the battles. Let them have the battles and see what they can do. All right. Oh, that's loud. That's loud. Let's go with this. Let me shut this off. Let's raise this up. All right, so this is the Multiverse. This is their new trailer that came out. Multiverse is free to play. Comes out, I think, at the end of this, about 10 days away. I think it's about 10 days away. So Multiverses might be a little too loud. So if you're wearing earphones, just back it off for a second. Can I just say, when this game came out a year and a half ago, when they first, I said, put as many people in this game as possible from as many different brands from WB. This is how you're successful. Then the game goes out for like almost a year, and then they closed almost for a year. So we'll see what happens when it relaunches and how many people they bring out.
Does these pies even have anything in them?
Certainly, this one's about to have your face in it.
Your big good barrage is over, Rabbit.
Velma, look out! It's...
Wanna see a magic trick?
Oh no, an evil clown. Never seen one of those before.
mathematical!
You realize, of course, this means war! How's that for a finisher?
Oh, that's a cute little toy you got there.
This is no toy.
He came in at the very end, didn't he? Didn't he come in at the very end of the before they closed it down?
Earthling, it is an Acme bubble blaster. Isn't it, love?
Hey now! It ain't polite to point weapons at a lady.
You have made me very angry.
Think I know someone else that's angry too.
you don't want to piss off the robot man.
Sword, check. Shield, check.
Oh, look at this. Got different multiverses.
Thirst for battle? Always check. The only version of me I trust is me!
Oh, wait. No, not this one. Let's try... Sorry, Bruce. I'm not here. Nuh-uh. Too cheery. I hate meddling kids.
Surrender, Joker. You're outnumbered.
I usually work alone, but for you,
There you go. There's Jason.
I'll make an exception.
All right, so they got quite a bit. We got here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. They got 27. They got to double it. You literally have, and I understand you guys are like, well, give them time. They literally have the entire portfolio of WB. There's literally thousands of different characters across movies, shows, games, across the board. And they have 27 people. The Looney Tunes alone, you could put 45 Looney Tunes in here. Just Looney Tunes. Then you have the Game of Thrones. Then you have Harry Potter. Then you have all this other stuff that you could put on top of it. The fact that they're missing all of this, right, is amazing to me, that they don't have as many characters already at launch. Like, by the time the game gets like up and going, I don't even care if this game lasts 10 years. You should start off as many heroes as possible and constantly bringing more heroes. Each year should have 10, 20 new characters each and every single year if you want to make this cross-platform for this. And when I mean not cross-platform for play, I'm talking about promotional material, okay? With Scooby-Doo, they have a new Scooby-Doo movie coming out, new Batman show or movie coming out, new Superman film coming out, new Wonder Woman, whatever. Whatever they have, they can promote by advertising. Look at what just happened to Fallout, the Fallout show coming out. Fallout show came out, people started playing Fallout again. Witcher came out, people started playing Witcher again. This is, all of a sudden, there's a new DC movie coming out. You put the new DC characters in here, you start playing, boom, marketing, and people start playing it. Market back and forth between the two. Why they don't do this type of stuff is beyond me. And with the least amount of characters possible, like, you should have double this day one, 100%. Yeah, but balancing. Yeah, so here's a picture of with a game like this. There needs to be a PvE mode, which they said they're putting in. There needs to be a bunch of different game modes, and the balancing for it, I don't care. Like, then don't make a fighting game, right? I said it with Marvel Rivals or whatnot. The balancing is going to be bad, but you wanted to make a fighting game, so put as many people as possible as you can, because they're going to be samey. But a lot of people, let's say Jason and Robot are the exact same character, okay? But some people don't even know who the robot is, so they're not going to pick the robot. They would rather pick Jason, right? That's what I'm talking about. They should bring in... Doesn't matter if it's the same character, it does the same exact thing. This is a rock meets paper, paper meets scissor type of fighting game. Right. Fallout's now coming to Fallout's now coming to Fortnite. What's going on, Mr. Luke? Right? It's crazy that they don't advertise like the way they want to advertise for it. So, interesting. I liked this game when it came out. I said the exact same thing with Marvel Rivals when it just came out. I said it needs a PvE mode. I said this a while ago. I was trying to find the footage. I talked about it, but I think it was on our old channel when it came out. Lizard meets Spock. That's right. I have that game. I have that game, by the way. Fighting games launching with reduced rosters is the whole conversation. They want the game to last, but then it takes them super long to put people in. This is why you need to put as many people in as possible in the start of it, because then it takes a long time for people to master certain things, and then you can release them throughout the year, but you have a sort. How many does Smash Brothers have? 60? I think it's like 60 characters, but it took them like a decade to get that many. Like 72 characters in Smash Brothers, and only 10 of them get used in the tournaments. That's fine. But in tournaments, the majority of the player base is not playing in tournaments. You know what I mean? The majority of players is playing just casually playing through the game and fighting. You want the people. Some people might come in. You were saying it earlier, Eclipse. I think it was you with Powderpuff Girls, right? Some people want to play the Powderpuff Girls. Put them in, right? Some people might want to be Harry Potter or Hermione. Put them in. Someone might want to be Voldemort. Put them in, right? Put them in. Put them in. Maybe people want to be Jon Snow, right? Put them in. Some people will only play the game because Aquaman's in there. Put him in. Lex Luthor. Put him in. Right? Clayface. Put him in. Bane. Put him in. Right? I don't care if Bane's the same as Jason. Put him in. Right? I don't understand. They're like, oh yeah, well, the business people are like, we can have all these characters down the line. And then no one plays the game, and because it's boring. And they're like, well, that bombed. It's like, no, put as many people in as possible, hype it up as much as possible, and then add more. Oh, that's what you're saying. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Majority of the people don't care, right? They just want to have fun. Put as many characters in as possible. Like, why isn't the whole Scooby-Doo staff in there? Where's Scooby? Got Shaggy and Velma, right? Put Fred, Velma, Daphne, Scooby, Scrappy, right? Dopey. Wait, what was his name? Dopey-Doo? What his name was? I forget what his name was, right? No, Dopey was from Disney. What the hell is that? What was his dumb cousin's name? Probably offensive now. That's probably why he's not in the game. Come on, Feed. Yeah, this game's free to play, Jones. Which even makes more sense of putting more people in. Was it Scooby Dumb? Was that his name? Was that his name? It was Scooby Dumb. Yeah. Put him in. Why not? Right? You got that whole staff. Then you put the Justice League in. Put the main Justice League in right away. Right? Then take the bad guys. Put them in right away. Harry Potter right away. Villains from Harry Potter right away. You could have all of these characters. Powderpuff Girls. Put them in. Dum dum dum. Yeah, it was Scooby Dumb. That's what it was, Z. Then you had the other ones as well. Not as popular, but you had the what's it called? You had Yabby Doo, which was the hick one. He was like a Western Scooby. Right? Where then you have Yogi, right? You have all the. Wait, no, does WB own Hanna-Barbera? I forget if they do. Who owns Hanna-Barbera now? Acquired Hanna-Barbera in 1966, retained the ownership until 1991, and a Turner Broadcasting System required the studio using the back catalog and established a Cartoon Network. Before Hanna died in 2001, Hanna-Barbera was a standalone company and folded into Warner Brothers. Yeah. Yeah. Warner Brothers has all of Yogi Bear and all the other stuff. Put them in. What are we doing? Krebsy says, I'm on the opinion of develop 50, release 30, and every 3 months release 5 at a time. I am agreeing with you, but my number is instead of release 30, mine's release 50, and then release the rest of them is what so I agree with you, Krebsy, but I'm saying develop more for the launch and then add more because there's so many characters that you can put in. Right, Sarge? Those of you that don't know what he's talking about. Like, put them in. There's a lot of characters, but 80% of them no one cares about. But the point is, somebody out there, if you put a character that someone knows, okay? Like if you put Captain Caveman in there, that would be a thing. Do you know what I mean? If you put the Flintstones in there, that'd be a thing. If you put the Smurfs in there, that would be a thing. Not everybody has to like all the characters that are there, but the more characters you put in the game, the better it is, especially for free-to-play. Then people would buy cosmetics or buy different skins or buy different things. Right, Salty. Captain Caveman. I don't even care if Captain Caveman has the exact same abilities as Taz. You see what I'm saying? Someone might like Tasmanian Devil and some might like Captain Caveman. They could be the exact same character. Exactly, Jones. It's not bad to have too many characters. Now, I get it. I get it that if your business model, especially a free-to-play game, okay? Look, Transformers is coming out sometime this year or next year, okay? Put as many Transformers as possible in the game. I don't care if I know all of them. Put as many Transformers in the game as possible, especially if it's a free-to-play game, because someone will be like, oh my god, you have that game, you have that one in the game, and you buy it. Sarge says, oh, that's a good point. Does Captain Caveman actually have powers, or does he just yell to motivate himself for 10 seconds, but that's no power? Discuss. I think WB would rather release characters that appeal to 5 million people than spend time making a character that only appeals to 200,000 that no one knows. Well, if I was the company and I was the leader of WB, which is Zaslav, I'm sitting on a huge portfolio of stuff. I would remake cartoons of Captain Caveman. I would put the Flintstones back out there, put them in a new light or whatever. I would put the Jetsons in there, right? Yes, I'm speaking as an old person, but at the same time, I would put tried and true IPs that actually made money for them over the time in a fighting game that's free to play, and the more characters you can put in there, the more money you can make. That's what I would do. That way, when it's in a multiverses, just like someone puts John Wick into Fortnite, and the kids think, oh, that's the guy from Fortnite, and not Keanu Reeves, same exact thing, right? Someone would look at Captain Caveman in a multiverses and go, oh, that's Captain Caveman from Multiverses, and it'd be like, no, that's not from Multiverses. Captain Caveman had his own show, right? It's okay to have something that nobody knows about inside a video game and ask questions. You have a whole portfolio of stuff that they could use that they're not using. So you would rather have them make off of a very few instead of this vast portfolio of stuff. That's bad business right there. You don't even have to pay for all that stuff. All that stuff is just sitting in the background doing absolutely nothing. The game is called Multiversus. It doesn't matter what time frame they came from. Doesn't matter if they're on a TV show today. The new Superman movie comes out. Boom. New Superman skin in the game. Someone can purchase it. Right? Robert Pattinson's Batman has nothing to do with the game. The Batman's in the game, and now they can put another Batman in the game. Why? Because they own the license. There's a modding community that makes Marvel vs. Capcom 2 have over 100 characters. It's awesome. Look at what they're doing with Star Wars Battlefront 2. How many mods are in there to put Mando and Ahsoka and Ventress and who else they have? The people from Rogue One. They have the Bad Batch in there now. Right? So 14 Transformers is all we need is all we know apart from the added Robo said ain't gonna get 50. I think you are. I think you are. These are the same people that started. Again, it's not Digital Extremes anymore, but that's a free-to-play game. 14 to start off with, which I think is way too little. If we double that, okay, and then on top of that, they should add an additional 20 within the next year for that free-to-play game that they want to have again, because maybe someone wants to be Rodimus Prime, right? Maybe someone wants to be Hot Rod. Maybe someone wants to be Optimus Prime. Maybe someone wants to be Megatron. Maybe someone wants to be Galvatron. Shit, I can think of Constructicons and Insecticons. That's already half of the 14 Transformers they could put in the game. I just named 2 groups. They need to put way more in there. Especially if your game is a free-to-play game and a fighting game for multiverses. Transformers, that 100%. You want to sell Transformers? What about if someone wants to come in and they're like, yeah, I don't really like that character. Oh. You have, I'm trying to think of one that's like obscure that people like, but I'm trying to think of, I can't think of his name now. What's the one that was on the motorcycle from the movie, from the Junk World? Yeah, Blur. Blur's a good one, Salty, right? Someone wants to be Blur, right? Right? He's not in the game, and someone goes, oh, if they put Blur in that game, I'd buy that. Wreck-Guard, thank you. Yeah, Jones, see, I think that's the wrong mentality about the drip feed. There's so many characters. Same conversation I had about putting Wolverine in Marvel Rivals, right? We had the same conversation, I don't even think you were watching my channel then, when we were talking about Marvel Future Revolution, and they didn't put Wolverine in. I was like, where's Wolverine? How come we don't have Wolverine in? They waited and waited and waited and waited with the drip feed. And then Wolverine came in, and 2 months later, they closed the game down. Wolverine was in the game for 2 to 3 months before they closed the game down. And they could have put him in the game well early, and people would have come and played that game with that character. And you add another cool character. But these people are like, the sales are not as good. because they're waiting for the character that they want to go in. Now, House, I know for a fact that you went to Google to search that. Bob Weep Grand Neep Vinny Bob. The only pushback I have with the normies take forever to level up, where the hardcore audience burn through the content super quick. Even more reason to have more characters, Salty, because the hardcore people will just level up more characters more, meaning they're enjoying the game more, meaning they're more likely to buy things for them. Where the casual would just not level up all the characters, but they would look for that character that they like and then level that character up. I would rather have all the stuff up front, but make a game that releases with 100 characters probably does worse than a game that starts at 24 and then drips to 100. The time-making blur could be used making Harry Potter. One would appeal to 20,000, the other would appeal to 10 million. Sure, but you're still arguing with you're saying the same thing as me, Krebsy, because I'm saying put as many people in there as possible. It's a free-to-play game. The way they're going to make money is by putting as many characters in there as possible and then selling skins or whatnot. So sure, right? Harry Potter's in the game. You're not paying for characters. You're not paying for characters. You're appealing to the game because of the characters in the game. That's the universal greeting, Mike. Everyone knows this. I get that, but you think you've targeted the wrong audience? I think they're going for casuals. I'm telling you, if they were charging for the game, it's completely different. These are free-to-play games that we're talking about here, right? Transformers supposed to be a free-to-play game, and Marvel Rivals is a free-to-play game, right? Or I'm sorry, Multiversus and Marvel Rivals. They're all free games. Okay? If you want to make money with these games, you have to put as many characters in as possible to bring in the most broad audience possible to go, oh, they have that character in there? I'm coming in. I'm going to play that. Right? Let's look at the roster for a second. Most of them are missing here because we don't have Jason, the Joker, or whatnot, right? You're looking at these guys, right? Most people, majority of people, probably don't know who fucking Gizmo is, okay? Or Stripe, because they just didn't watch the old movies. Unless you were older, you would know who these are, right? Black Adam, people know because of the movie with The Rock in it, okay? Marvin the Martian is definitely not anyone that was born under the age of 30, okay, that's playing this game. Okay, LeBron James, who is the most, great sports athletes or whatever, everyone knows he's in the game. Okay, Taz, when's the last time you watched the cartoon with Bugs Bunny and Taz? Right? Nobody knows. They don't even make the new shows for this thing anymore. Okay, Finn from Adventure Time, 20 years ago. Most of these things are from brands and IPs that are well over 20 years. Obviously, Superman, Wonder Woman. Okay, Tom and Jerry had a new movie, 4 years ago? 5 years ago? Out of all the people from Game of Thrones, they put one, Arya. When did Adventure Time come out? Am I wrong about that, Jones? When did Adventure Time come out? Yeah, 15 years ago. Adventure Time, 2010. Wasn't 20. but it's 14 years. God damn old. Feels like yesterday. I'm telling you. So, like, who are these people going for? I don't even know what Steve Universe is. What is he from? First appearance, Steve's Universe, pilot, May of 2013. Is he not obscure? I think he's obscure. What about Ren Dog? He's a new character. His first appearance is literally in the game. So let's take Krebsy's thing up there. I would rather, right, spend time making this character than instead of that character. Yet they added a brand new character to the game. Nobody knows about this character. Right? Black Adam. Oh yeah, lot of big fans before the movie came out, right? 1945 is when he first came out. This is my point, Krebsy. This is exactly my point. They should have taken characters and put as many characters in as possible. It doesn't matter if it's obscure or no one knows about these characters, right? What do you think people know more? Yogi the Bear or Ren Dog? Right? What do they know more? Harry Potter or Ren Dog? Just put as many characters in as possible. And I think they are. I just think they should have more characters at launch is my big take from this. Just put as many characters in as the starting point and then add a bunch of people. Not one a month, not one every 3 months, like a chunk of people. Boom, five more guys every season. You have 40 people at the start. It's like the same conversation we had for Marvel Rivals, right? You have like 40 people at start. You give them 12 weeks to learn those characters, and then all of a sudden, the next season comes, boom, here's 10 more. 12 weeks, next season, boom, here's 10 more. What I miss is talking about the diversity of this is bad. It should bring back Jim Crow. Travis says, but everyone just put everyone heck where the hell is Talion? 5 out of 10. Someone at DC was a reindeer fetish. I'll go to my other point from the business side. Waste money creating 16 billion characters or make a few and see how it goes instead of wasting capital. Again, though, they're sitting... This game, one, is a Multiversus game. You're using this game to promote all of your IPs across your entire thing. You see what I'm saying, Salty? It's not just promoting a video game, okay? It's promoting the entire string of characters they own that they're sitting on that they could make money from. It's not like this is just a Justice League game or this is just a Scooby-Doo game. This is a game that's literally intertwining all of the IPs that they have into one set game. Harry Potter not being in this game at the start, I think is stupid. Let me make that clear, Krebsy. Right? Harry Potter. Now, obviously, there's a new show in the works. Right? There's a new show in the works. I would assume that they're not putting Harry Potter in the game because they'll probably bring Harry Potter in the game when the next show comes out on HBO. If they weren't bringing a show out, they would probably already have him in the game. House of Dragons, that's out now, or season 1 came out, right? And then throw them in, right? Throw them in. Throw the characters in there. Look how look how Rocksteady and how hard it is to create content. But this is not even making content. You're just taking characters and putting them in. They're promoting you from that. Like the content, there's no story here. It's literally just characters that you're throwing in to fight. Okay, all of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it's insane to me. The amount of IPs that WB owns, and they put Rendog in. I don't have enough characters. Let's make up a new one. There's probably, what, 15 movesets? New characters? More like skins than content. You add a new character to the existing moveset, it should be cheaper. Right, Lurker? And again, you can have the same characters that have the same movesets, right? For the hardcore people, be like, oh, it's the same movesets. But for the casuals, maybe you don't like Superman, and maybe you want another character. You want Shazam instead, right? Like, they have Black Adam, but they don't have Shazam, right? Maybe you like Shazam better than whatever it is, right? Maybe Velma has the same as moves as Daphne, but you like Daphne better than Velma. That's all I'm saying. To have a game like this, and again, across the board, Marvel Rivals, Multiversus, Transformers, you put as many of these characters in as possible, especially since it's a free-to-play game, and you want to sell as many cosmetics as possible. That's another one, right? Don't they own? Doesn't WB own Avatar as well? Like, why don't you put an Avatar character in here? We all love Velma. That's why we got a season 2. That's right. That's right. That's why we got a season 2. No, James Cameron. Isn't that WB? Isn't Avatar owned by WB? It's not Disney, is it? I know Disney has the rights at Animal Kingdom. Is it Disney? Oh, yeah, they do own it. That's right. It was 20th Century Fox. They bought Fox. That's what it was. Yeah. That's what it was. Who owns Nickelodeon now? Sony actually could buy a Nickelodeon, right? That's part of Paramount. Let's be honest, Dirty. It's just Diet Smash. See, I never understood. I never understood that. I never understood that compares one game to another, especially over IPs. That makes no sense to me, Travis. Right? If you were a Mario guy, then you would play a fighting game with Mario. Right? If you're a WB person and you like the IP with that, then you would play the IP of this. One has nothing to do with the other. It doesn't matter if it's a clone of the exact same thing or not. It's all about the IP. That's it. Would you want to own Nickelodeon right now? Let the lawsuit settle, then buy on sale. I mean, I would probably buy it when it's on sale. You know what I mean? But like, while it's going, get it for the cheapest price possible, right, Lurker? When the gameplay is almost the exact same, and I mean a one-to-one copy of gameplay, yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. One has to do with the Nintendo IPs, and one has nothing to do with the Nintendo IPs. It's the WB IPs. Like, has nothing. Who cares? Matters to you? Does it though? You like Smash. That means you like the Nintendo IP. So don't play the other one. But there's a whole bunch of people that know about the WB IPs that they like, which don't like the Nintendo IP. That's why they don't play Smash, but they might play WB. I'm actually one of those people. I don't like Smash, but I like the IP in WB, and I actually like the characters. So that's why I played it. It's the exact same game. I know it is. Here, perfect example. Perfect example. Overwatch. Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals is exactly the same as Overwatch. Right? People that never played Overwatch will now play Overwatch because of the Marvel IP. I'm not even talking about the high level Eclipse. I'm just talking about just the IPs. Just the IPs. He wants Elden Rings. Yeah. Angry Joe thinks that with some tuning, Marvel Rivals is better than Overwatch. Sure. But just the IP alone, right? Just the IP alone, House, is more appealing than Overwatch. Overwatch was generic characters when it first came out, right? We didn't know anything about the characters. Nothing about the characters. You know about the characters of Marvel, right? So if they came out, again, let's compare another game, Helldivers. Helldivers is a generic game. Nothing against it. It doesn't have lore or anything. Like, it's having the lore now. People are liking it now. But if you take the same copy pasta of what Helldivers is and make it Star Wars or make it Halo, you would have more people interested because they like the IP and they like the gameplay. So people liked Overwatch, but it was generic characters for a lot of people, and they're like, I don't really like the game because I don't know the characters. But now it's Marvel, and they're like, oh, man, this is really good, right? My whole point of this entire thing is IPs. IPs. It doesn't matter if it's a copy pasta. It just matters about the IPs. The reason that these companies buy these IPs is because they know there's a already baked in fan base. If it's tens of thousands or tens of millions. And this is exactly why they pick them up. So Travis saying that Smash Brothers is better than this and it's a carbon copy doesn't fucking matter, because WB is looking to get the people that either like that game or like the IP, and that's what they're going for. Mr. Luke says, I played both. Like MVS more because I know them. Exactly. Marvel Rivals, I can't wait to play it because both free. Exactly. And you want to play as many characters as possible. I play more IP games than not. Yeah, because you know the characters. You've already invested 20 years of your life if it was a comic book or a movie or a show. IP is a huge thing. They weren't. Why on earth were they getting killer clowns from outer space? Like, who actually remembers that, 30? Yeah, but Travis, now you're on my side, right? You're saying it's a carbon copy of a thing, and now you're agreeing with me with the IPs. Sure, but all I'm saying, Hollis, is you could like Overwatch and you like the characters they made for Overwatch. But I'm saying a lot of people look at that and go, I don't understand this. I don't like the characters. But if you made the exact same game, carbon copied, and then put an IP that people know, more people would be interested. There's a lot of tweaking they have to do. There's a lot of tweaking they have to do for Marvel Rivals. A lot of tweaking. I hope that doesn't come out anytime soon. I hope they do exactly what Overwatch did. It goes silent, 6 months, 8 months, another test comes out, and then it launches sometime next year, this time next year. But they also have to add an additional 20 characters before it comes out. And I mean that. Minimum. 20 characters. There'll be 40 characters in that game. 40 people in that game before it comes out. I want a standalone Deadpool game. The Deadpool game that came out, what was it, 2010? When did the Deadpool game come out? I liked it. (2013). It's actually pretty good. It's been 10 years. 11 years? Yeah, I know. I have a video on that, and that's what the Thor, Captain America. Yeah, I have a video on that. We talked about that last week about the other characters. Or 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. All right. That is all the stuff I wanted to talk about today. I think this worked out a lot better with the microphone windscreen on it. I didn't feel like there was a lot of popping or anything, so that's good. Yeah, I noticed when I got close to the microphone, it would get a little loud, or it would pop a couple things, Travis. So last week I ordered this, and it revived yesterday, so much better. I think it's harder to make a game with unoriginal characters. Sure, you got to make the IP. Like, right now, Overwatch is a huge IP. So if they actually made an Overwatch 2 and not just made Overwatch 1.5, and they had another game come down the road, it'd be huge, because you know the characters now. Okay, but there's still a lot of people that wouldn't play Overwatch because they just don't like the characters. But if you make the exact same game, I've said this in the past, Destiny with Marvels, Destiny with Transformers, Destiny with Star Wars, more people would play that game because they wouldn't have to learn about anything. They already know the characters, and they like playing those characters. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And as always, if you want to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Appreciate it very much. And I'll see you guys tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Peace.